Hello, this is Robin Armbrecht with Really Robin Stamps. Welcome to my paper crafting Playdate. If you are watching this live, thank you so much for being here. If you are watching this on the replay later or on YouTube, thank you so much for taking the time to join me in my stamp room and the time to learn something new today. So today is April 30th. 2021, which means tomorrow is May 1st. It's Mayday. So my theme today is a May basket, or a basket for any occasion, and some paper flowers. So let me turn the camera so you can see my stamping table, and let's see what we got to play with today. Okay, let me get that situated. Put my glasses on so I can see. Hello, Miss Lisa. How are you today? Sorry, you're not outside. You're probably working, aren't you, Lisa? All right, look at these lovely things we have to play with today. So excited. Let me find you on Facebook. There we go. I want to see your comments. Awesome. All right, hi Wanda. All right, okay, here we go. Look at this lovely, lovely stuff we have. To play with today. We have new things. We have new stuff. So this is the brand new annual catalog, which is going to be going live in 4 days on May 4th. So we get to open this up and see all the goodness inside on May 4th. So I have these catalogs. If you need a catalog and you don't have another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, come straight to me because I will give one to you. All right, and today we're going to use some of the new things out of this catalog. Now, if you want to stamp along with me today, you can grab an 8.5-inch square of cardstock and then a 1-inch by 8.5-inch strip of cardstock. All right, so that would be what you would need. Hello, Miss Wanda. Hi, Lynn. So glad you're joining me. Look at this gorgeous paper. So this is a new set called Hand Penned that is absolutely beautiful and it incorporates all of these delicious, lovely colors. So we are going to be using some of this paper a little bit later, and we're using this new color called Pale Papaya today. So that's wonderful. You guys, this is Paper Crafting Playdate number 16. What do you think about that? Oh, my paper's crooked here. I'm kind of excited because, you know what, I wasn't sure I was going to keep continuing doing the live videos. You know, I've been a demonstrator for 21 years, and everything I've done has been in person with people, teaching them how to stamp in person. So I was kind of a little bit late to the video game, but that's okay. I'm learning new things, and your lovely comments and kind, encouraging things that you've said to me has just meant the world to me. So thank you so much. And we're gonna just keep going with this because this is pretty fun. I think that's straight. We'll see. Okay. All right. So let me show you how to make this from scratch here. So we are making a paper basket, and I'm not even gonna show you how it looks because it's too cute. All right, so I'm just starting with a whole sheet here just to show you the entire process. And you need a paper cutter, and you have to extend the arm because we're making a measurement that is 8.5. Now, if you're good at math, you can just subtract, you know, from one side, but that is not who I am. So this side's already 8.5. We're going to cut here at 8.5 to get an 8.5-inch square. And this is going to be the our basket. And then to make the handle, you cut off 1 inch from what's remaining. And so you have a 1 inch by 8.5 inch strip to use for the handle. All right, now before I go any further, I'm going to just give this a little stamping. And I'm going to bring in this Flowers of Friendship. This is a brand new stamp set. I'm going to use this bigger image here with the pale papaya ink. I'm going to stamp it just as a background all over the back, or the front, or the outside. The outside, that's what I meant. So I'm just going to turn this every time I stamp so that I have this image going in all kinds of directions, and that is what's going to make it look like it's background paper when I'm all done. This pale papaya color is so pretty. I think it's going to be a great addition. Lynn, thank you so much. Wanda, thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are my top fans. And I love it. Lisa is always there ready to watch, and I appreciate that so much. Okay, so we're almost done here. One more. Look at that, perfectly. Now I chose to not overlap my images when I made this background, but you can also do that, and that just looks more of like a collage type of image if you overlap them. So I just did them not touching. Now I'm going to take this row of flowers that is also in this stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it just down the middle of the handle like that. Okay, so now we're done stamping. I'll put my ink away. Okay, so let's go back to the paper trimmer, and we're going to score it. All right, so if you have your square and your paper trimmer, here's how you score it. First of all, get your cutting blade out of the way so you don't accidentally cut instead of score. Now you're going to measure at 2.5 inches, and you're going to score that same measurement all the way around on every single side, like that. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. And you're going to make that score line. All right, now we're done with the paper trimmer for now. Okay, so what you have, once you've done this, we're going to fold on these lines to the inside. So where I've stamped, that's going to be the outside of the basket, and then the inside is going to be the plain side. So you can see I'm folding them all up because they're all going to go in like this. Okay, so now we need to create some flaps. So the sides are all the same, so it doesn't matter which side you start on. Pick a side. So I'm going to pick this side, and you want to cut on your score lines until you meet the next score line like this. I like to use my larger scissors for this because you can make a longer cut because the blades are longer, and then you don't have to worry about any kind of wiggling. So now I've got 2 flaps and a side, okay? So you do it on one side and then you do it on the opposite side. So just flip it around, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna cut on the score lines until you get to the cross, the score line that goes in the opposite direction. All right, so now you've got another side and the other flaps like that. Okay, so just to help us remember about these sides, we're just going to fold over about 1/2 inch on each side. And I didn't even score that. I just freehanded it. If you want to score it, just make a 1/2 inch score line there and then fold it over. So we're going to do that. This will just kind of help you see it coming together. All right, so we fold it over like that. Let's go ahead and adhere those down. I'm just using regular adhesive just to stick those. So this is like going to the inside, these folds. You'll see why we need it in just a second. Okay, so here's our flaps, here's our sides. These are going to be the other sides. So now what we need to do is we need to cut each of these corner flaps into thirds, all right? So this is 2.5 inches, okay? If you are a better mathematician than I am, which that's generally speaking just about anybody, you could figure this out in inches, but I could not do it in inches. It was like 0.83 in decimals, and that meant nothing to me. So what we're going to do is just eyeball it, because ultimately it doesn't matter. So you're going to cut into thirds, and again with the long pair of scissors, you can just kind of get one swipe there. So once you get it kind of lined up, cut each of those into thirds. Now, even if you're thinking, oh, I can't even eyeball anything, honestly, this isn't that hard. So just go for it. It's not going to affect the basket. I've made a bunch of these now, and some of them I've gotten more accurate than others, and it really, the ultimate outcome of the basket doesn't matter if you've got some of your flaps like skinnier than others. All right, so here's what we got. We've got 3 little flaps on each side, just like that. All right, easy, right? All right, so this is Seal Plus. I do recommend this adhesive for this project, or something that's really strong like the multi-purpose glue. I love it for this reason right here, to use my Seal Plus. The Seal Plus, let's see if you can see that. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. It comes off in little perforated rectangles. Okay, so if you just hold these flaps down and you go right across all of them at the same time, if I can get that queued up there, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna go across twice actually here. Okay, all right, so let me see that. Like that. All right, I'm just gonna fold the stuff that went over, doesn't matter, I'm just gonna fold that in. But you can just pull these apart now. So you can swipe it across once, and then you've got adhesive on all your flaps. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that to all of these flaps. Like this. Again, you could use liquid glue if you wanted to, if you don't have the Seal Plus yet. And then you just pull these apart so that they're individual, like that. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start on one side, all right, here's our side, and you're gonna start with the 2 flaps that are closest to the side, so that would be these 2 flaps. You're going to fold them, or I guess bend them until they overlap, right, and just until they overlap. You're gonna cross that, and then you're gonna attach it. Because our adhesive is on this side here, it's gonna attach perfectly. All right, so you're gonna do that one. Then you're gonna take the next 2 and you're gonna fold those, and they're gonna just go right above. They won't be at quite as an angle as the first ones, because now they're in the middle. And then the last 2, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna overlap them. This time, these are gonna actually go down a little bit so that they kind of make this really sweet little pattern right here. And that's why we had to cut the edge of our box down, so that when we did this, we'd get this beautiful little shape here. Isn't that cool? All right, let's do the other side. Again, our adhesive was placed on the inside of those flaps, the inside of the box. So let's fold the side up. Take the first 2 here. I'm just going to overlap them so they'll be angled up, essentially, like that, attached to the box. Then we're going to take the next 2, and these will be angled up, but not quite as much. Overlap those, and then we'll take the top 2, we'll overlap them and angle them down just a little bit, like that. Look how that just makes a beautiful curve on the little basket. I think I've been calling it a box again. It's a basket. How cool is that? I love this idea. Now let's put the handle on. All right, so we decorated our handle earlier. We're just gonna give it a slight curve by using the bone folder. Now I'm not doing like Christmas curling wrapper curling like here. I'm just barely bending it so that it just makes this nice little arch. And then we're going to put adhesive on the outside of each end like that. And then we'll put it on the side of the box from the inside like that. And there we have got a cute little basket. What do you think? So this is really just a variation on another kind of little paper basket that that we've been making for a long time. So let me just show you this. So this is the same thing. This is an 8.5 inch square. I scored it the same way, but typically when we've done these in the past, we've made each section the same size. So instead of measuring it 2.5, well, actually I can't figure that out with an 8.5. I don't know what it would be. But here's my point. This was without cutting the flaps. We would just make a little basket like this. We would just fold these over like that. You could attach it like that, or you could make these points fit like that, and you would have this great little basket. I'll show you what it looks like finished. So this one I scored at the same 2.5 inch like I did for this one. The only difference is that I'm not cutting the flaps or bending the sides down. So we're just get something that looks a little bit more almost like a this one looks a little bit more like a takeout box, right? With just like the bottom part of it. So this would be a simple version. You could just put those flaps like that, and then you would have a little box like that, okay? But just by doing the same thing, cutting those little extra flaps in the corner, you get this nice little woven look. In fact, here, look at this one. You can see it without the stamping, how that looks. You can see just how cute that is. Now, what I haven't had time to do yet, I wanted to make one of these in actually like a light brown, you know, cardstock to kind of mimic an actual woven basket. And you could sponge the edges, you know, of these little strips to kind of make it look aged, and that would be really, really cute. Okay, so now it's time to decorate this basket. So we're going to make some paper flowers using some of the cardstock colors that are in, they're actually in this paper. So we're not using this paper on this project, but I kind of gathered my inspiration from these colors here. Because I normally probably wouldn't have pulled Garden Green, you know, to go with Blush Blossom and Daffodil, but I love that now that I did that, they look pretty cool together. I'm going to bring in this new punch, and the new punch is going to be called Flowers and Leaves punch. That's what it's called, and it bundles with this stamp set here. So this bundle together will be available next week. And let's pull in some black ink here. Now, this is a punch that's really handy because it has 2 sizes of flowers and 2 sizes of leaves. You can punch them all out at the same time. However, if you've had one of these punches with multiple punched shapes on them, you know that you kind of, it can be tricky to line up. So what I did is I punched this punch once in a scrap piece of white like that. Okay, so I just punched it exactly like that. And then I took my images, so I took the 2 flowers and I lined them up inside my little template here like that without the block. Okay, I'm just showing you kind of the process I used. I just set them inside the template, and then I picked them up together on my block. So now I know, and I'm going to keep this template, right? You've done this once, you don't need to do it over and over again. For as long as I'm stamping with these today, I'm going to keep them on the same block like this, and that way every time I stamp them, I know I'll be able to punch them out perfectly, right? So then I did the same thing on a different block. I situated the, I must have this upside down. There we go. I situated the leaves in their little template spots, made sure they were right where they needed to be, picked them up at the same time, so now I can stamp the leaves and flowers a little bit more quickly. So I'm going to stamp in 3 colors. We're going to stamp some white flowers. And I'm going to just go ahead and stamp from each end just to make it easier to punch out today. And we're going to stamp some Daffodil Delight flowers. Hello, Miss Judy. How are you doing today? And then we're going to stamp some Blushing Bride flowers. Does anybody out there make Mayday baskets? And if you do, tell me what you do or what you put in them. I think typically Mayday is just kind of a celebration of spring, and you're supposed to give flowers. Let's just do 3, might as well. Actually, I can fit 4 on there. You never know. You always need more leaves, right? And then we'll do Garden Green. Okay, well, that's enough of that. Okay, so now we'll get to the punching. Now here's the other thing that I did. Where did I write it down? Oh, I wrote it down and it didn't stick. Okay, so what I recommend is, I'm gonna rewrite this here so you can see it. So once I figured out how to do this on strips, which will make it easier, let me show you. So I can just stick this in here. There's enough room to stamp my flower, and then, you know, it's going to catch a little bit of those leaves, but it's not like I'm going to have so many pieces left over. So I've got my flowers. So I figured out what's the best size to cut those flowers, which is a 1.5 inch strip. And so I'm going to write that on my punch because I don't want to have to remeasure this and figure it out every time. I'm trying to be, you know, kinder to myself, right? And help myself next time and make it easier. Once I figure something out, let's not forget it. Let's work with it. So I did the same thing with the leaves. I figured out the size of strip that I would need to kind of punch those really easily. So here you can see the leaves. I can punch them at the same time. And I can just keep sliding that through. Like that, and like that. All right, so this strip going this way to just catch those leaves needs to be a 1 inch strip. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mark those on the front of my punch. That way I don't have to figure it out again. All right, let's do some more leaves here, and then we will put these together and decorate the basket. This is a new color as well. This is not. No, never mind. Forget that. This is mint macaron, but it's reminding me of the new color. And I almost used the new color. That's why I was confused. Okay, so there's all our lovely green leaves. And then all we have to do is just kind of sort through the extra that's stamped or that punched and that we don't actually need, and pull that out. And then keep all the leaves together like that. There we go. So there's all of our punched leaves, and we've got a little pile of flowers here. Let's make a couple more, and we'll do the white. I've got way more flowers here than I need, but who knows? Who knows when you're gonna need more flowers? Okay, so let's decorate our basket. So we've got some flowers and some leaves. So I'm gonna put like three together. So we'll put like 2 large and 1 small flower on one side, and then we'll put 2 small and 1 large flower on the other side like that, and we'll give them each just a couple leaves, large and small, like that, and then we'll have a nice little extra pile of leaves. So I'm going to attach these with dimensionals, and I'm going to use the small ones. So let's get all of those on there. Like that. Okay, so we're ready to put the flowers on. I'm just going to put the leaves on with glue dots, so we don't need to make those dimensional as well. So on the side, so this is, this basket is a great opportunity, although I don't think this looks necessarily bad to have these, you know, kind of the overlapping showing. I think it actually looks kind of cool. This is a great place to embellish right here. So we're going to take off the dimensionals. And we'll stick our flowers on like that. And then let's add our leaves. Isn't that fun? Here's what I should be doing. You guys ever done this with your embellishments when you're putting together a bunch of stuff? You could just stick them all on there on your little roll of glue dots, and then it does speed things up a little bit. So let's do one more over here like that, and then we'll flip it around and do the other side. Guy in there, and now we've got our leaves. Like that. Let's put another one over here. Okay, and then of course you can bend the little petals up because they're just adhered in the middle, so you can kind of give it a little bit of dimension by just pulling those petals up. See, that little bit right there makes such a difference if you compare that side to that side where it's flat. That's all you need to do is just give it a little puff like that. And then if you want to make it just a little bit more fancy, I guess, if you can use your Wink of Stella. You could do this actually before you put them on. But that way, if you do it this way, then you don't have to worry about any of it rubbing off on your fingers. So I'm just painting basically the whole flower with this little bit of shimmer. Lori, what did you put in your Mayday baskets? Was it always flowers? That's what I'm curious to know. I think it's usually flowers, but like I can remember making them as a kid too. In fact, I made one of the old-fashioned kind that are so precious. There we go. Finish with the Wink of Stella. This kind, where you fold your paper, right? This is a huge one. This is a piece of 12 by 12. And this is just where you take, you know, the square paper and you fold it into a cone, right? So it's perfect for long-stemmed flowers. If you were going to give flowers with stems, you can just hang this little cute thing on somebody's door, put a little note in there, a little message. So that's a 12 by 12 cone hanger. And then this one is made with a piece of 6 by 6. Super, super quick and easy to do. You need just to roll it, seal it with a piece of tape, and add a little ribbon. So what did you put in there? Yes, Lynn, that cone is what you did. Yeah, that's kind of what I remember too. Okay, so there is our basket. How cute is that? I'm super excited about this project. Oh, wait, I'm not done. I brought out some ribbon because we have it, right? Here's the pale papaya ribbon, and we're just gonna tie 2 little bows and put those on the side as well. You could put anything in here, right? The possibilities are unlimited. If you didn't want to do flowers, real flowers, you can do chocolates, you can do candy of any kind. You could put little seed packets in there. Oh, look, I have an extra leaf here. Let's put another leaf somewhere. Here we go. All right, so this is now the ribbon, and I'm just going to attach it with a glue dot right here on the side, like that. And I have a glue dot stuck to me, so let's see if we can get that. Oh, I have two. Wow. And let's put that over here. There. Now it's done. Okay, you're asking yourself, that's pretty cute. What could be cuter? What could be cuter? And I say, how about a mini basket, right? We've got this nice size basket, but let's say you want something smaller that would be more of like a little table basket for individual place settings, or for little like candy or nut cups on the table, or like a shower. So this was kind of my inspiration because I am going to 2 bridal showers this weekend, and one of them I'm co-hosting. I guess I'm not really, it was my idea, but that's about it. My mom is doing it for Elizabeth. So this was an 8.5 inch square. This is a 6-inch square. All right, so we're gonna make a mini. So you do it exact same way, but you are gonna score it a little differently. Instead of 2.5 inches around, you're gonna do 1 3/4 all around. So let me do that. Let me get that cutting blade out of the way. All right, Rebecca says, when I was in high school, my girlfriends and I made baskets that we put some rocks in on the bottom with candy on the top and took them to the boys in our class, rang the bell, and ran off. Well, that's a fun game. Why were the rocks in the bottom? That's what I want to know. What were the rocks for? Lori says it was always flowers. Yes. Okay, so again, this is 1 3/4 if you're doing the 6-inch side. Let's hope I did this right. Okay, so you do the exact same thing. I'm gonna have the basket outside be this beautiful flower. Inside is going to be this side. So here's the advantage of using designer series paper, is that you get a pretty pattern on the inside. The only disadvantage that I can see of making the larger size in a piece of pattern paper is that it's just not quite as sturdy. So you'd have to be careful what you put in here, that it couldn't be too heavy, right? Nobody could lift it by the handles, especially if there were rocks on the bottom, Rebecca, nobody could lift that, right? All right, so you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna pick one of the sides. You're gonna first cut the side flaps where they meet the next scoring line, flip it to the opposite side, and do the same thing on that side. Okay, so now we've got that. Then you're going to fold this side down that's in between these flaps. Instead of a 1/2 inch this time, just do a 1/4 inch. So it's smaller. And you can put a little bit of adhesive on there to get that to stick down. Like that. Then the next step is to cut each of these flaps into thirds. We're just eyeballing it. Like that. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Rocks, because we were doing it as a joke to fool the boys. Well, that makes sense. Of course, the danger is there if they are going to start a rock fight, right? I mean, I have 2 boys. I kind of know what they do with rocks, right? But actually, they'd appreciate that gift a lot. All right, we're going to take my Stampin' Seal Plus, and we're going to roll it over all of those flaps at one time because it's perforated. And you can just pull those flaps back apart like that. I am making 12 of these baskets later on this afternoon for the shower tomorrow. All right, so you start with the ones closest to the side. Just overlap those, press them down. do the middle ones, overlap, press it down like that, and then you do the top one. It's going to go down just a little bit like that. You've got the cute little side. I love this project. This is making me pretty happy. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. And now we've got the miniature. See, here's the size difference from the top. Now on this one, I didn't want to cut just a little strip to make my handle out of the designer series paper, so I'm going to use white. And this piece is 6 inches, so it's the same size as the square. It's the length of the square, and it's 3/4 of an inch instead of 1 inch. I tried it with a 1/2 inch strip, and that works too. If you wanted to do, you know, a half of this size, it makes a skinnier handle. I just kind of liked a little bit thicker of a handle, so I made mine 3/4 of an inch, but you can fix it however you want it. Perfect. Now let me just pull out a couple more little flowers that I have here. Let's do a couple pink flowers, and we're just gonna pop those up on the side. Well, actually, hold on. I've got one done here, so I'll show you. So here is, I forgot to put the embellishments on there. So here is how I decorated the side of this one with just 1 little flower and 2 little leaves. And I see that I forgot to do this one, so let's go ahead and decorate this one with our embellishments. So I'm going to take the gold enamel dots here. They're shimmery, and we'll add those. We can't forget that. There we go. That's much better. I got so excited to show you the mini, I just moved right on past the embellishments. That's okay. There we go. All right, so there you've got a little Mayday basket in 2 sizes. So cute. So cute, I think, anyway. All right, so here is one I just made with pink, just plain Blushing Bride, and I put some Calypso Coral with So Saffron on the side, just to kind of see it with pattern paper and to see it in cardstock. And then I brought out this older retired gingham paper because I was picturing this as a gingham little basket when I started making it, and I put the daisy punch on there just for something a little bit different. And then this is the one that I'm making for Elizabeth's shower, and I brought out some old paper. This is not current, you cannot get this, but this was a paper that had succulents in it, and so I've been saving that pack of paper for some reason, and I realized it was for this moment, so I got to pull these out. So this is what I'm making for her. Pretty cool, right? Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing before I let you go today, and that is how to make paper flowers. Okay, so here is my sample here, because I thought, what else would be so cute? Let's say you've got a little treat cup here, and you've got you're having a little spring something or another, and you're having a nice dinner, and you're making little treat cups, and you could get these cute little flower pots, right? And make your own little flowers if you didn't want to plant something real. So let me show you how to make some paper flowers in a very, very, very simple way. And all you need for this are punches and a little bit of water, and that's really about it. So I am using some toothpicks to be the stems of my flowers, so let me get 3 of those out there. And I'm using the small daisy punch, the 1.5 and 1 inch circle punch, and then I'm going to use the flower punch again, just so you can see how the different shapes make different flowers. So for, let's see, let's do, oh, I see, I already punched these out. Let's remember what we did. So I already punched out in the pale papaya, two smaller flowers and then a larger flower. And then I'm going to punch out of the Blushing Bride 2 larger circles and then a 1-inch circle. And then there is 2 sizes of this punch, but I didn't quite want my little daisy to be super big. So I'm just using the same size of flower for that particular little flower, and you need 3. So I think 3 layers is kind of the minimum to make these. So now I'm just going to spread them out here on a paper towel, and I'm going to mist them with my Stampin' Spritzer, and I'm just going to give it like 3 little spritzes and then flip them over. Now this step is optional. I just find that it kind of helps when you're kind of trying to create those little crunchy little, that's not the right word, crunchy is not the right word, just they look kind of more realistic because you've crumpled them. I guess that's the word I'm looking for, crumple. So I'm just going to take all the pieces now and crumble them up. The little bit of water that's on there really just helps it to crumble better. It's a little bit softer. It keeps it from tearing in this process. And I'm doing this really quickly. You don't have to do it this fast. Like that. So now I've got all these little pieces here. And while those are just kind of sitting for a second, I'm going to take my toothpicks, and I've got mint macaron here and a little sponge dauber, and I'm just going to roll those into my little sponge and make the stems green. These are fancy toothpicks, I guess, because they don't have the other side on them, but you don't need those. You can just use regular toothpicks. I tried it with both. It works. I must have had a party or something because I have a bunch of these. All right, now let me show you the inside of this. Actually, here, I'll get another pot. So these are little tiny pots I got at the craft store. And I wanted to make it look like dirt inside of there, and the 1.5-inch circle punch is the exact size of the hole, so you can punch a dirt kind of color cardstock and just set that right down in there. So, but before I do that, I'm going to punch, I'm going to poke some holes in it that the toothpicks are going to go in. So I'm going to use the piercing side of my take your pick tool and just towards the center make 3 holes like that. Now when I set that inside, see it just like stops right there perfectly, so it'll kind of look like dirt. Okay, so let's put our flowers together. So I'm going to open them back up, that they've had time to crinkle and curl. There's our little daisy. You don't have to crumple these. You could make these flowers without crumpling. You'll just find they look a little flat, right? So you would have to kind of bend them or curve them with your bone folder to kind of make those petals kind of seem more realistic. I kind of like this method. I like the way this paper looks crumbly, kind of weathered. So I'm going to just give it a little bit more interest. I'm going to use what's left over on my dauber here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of green around the edges of all the flowers. Like that. Not a lot, just a little bit, so they all have just a little hint of green. It'll kind of help that flower kind of tie into the leaves that you're going to put on there. Make it look a little more realistic. Like that. Okay, so let's stack them. So all you do is put, so this, if you have one with different sizes, like this, it's going to go from the larger to the smaller, all right? So larger, smaller, smaller. So we're going to go like this. So we're going to put our little dimensionals into the center of the first two that are going to layer together. And then the last one's going to get an embellishment, so you don't want to put a glue dot on that. All right, so you're going to take, let's take all of these off at one time. Where's this tool? See if this will help me here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to just plop that on there. I'm going to turn it because it has petals, so I'm just going to turn it like that. And then when I put the next one on, I'll turn that the opposite way so it looks more full. Same with the daisy, I'll turn it so the petals are kind of going in a different, like that. And then the last one will go in a different direction. With the circles, you can kind of offset them a little bit. So I'm just gonna do like that. So it looks more like a little poppy. Okay, and then you just kind of scrunch it back up like that. Then you've got your little paper flowers. So the easiest way I found to put these on toothpicks is to just use your paper piercing tool, and you just want to create a hole that goes through. And of course it's going through not only the 3 paper layers, but it's also going through the dimensional. So you have to give it just a little poke. Hello, Miss Pat. All right, let's stick that guy on there. All right, so now what you're gonna do to make it look even a little more realistic, I punched some more of this kind of flower right here from the new punch. And I'm going to use it as kind of like the bottom, or the, what do I want to call it? Where the part where the bud, I'm so scientific. The part where the bud, you know, would grow the flower, you've got those leaves left over, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just attach this to the bottom. And this doesn't have to be dimensionalized either, but you could make it if you wanted a little more space. I'm just going to use a glue dot and put that right over. Probably would have been a good idea to do this before I poked the hole. I'll have to just re-poke that really quickly. And let's do the small one. Like that. So we'll just do that one more time. All right. You see where I'm headed here. And then we're just going to stick little toothpicks on there. And we'll just put them right into our pot, and then we've got our own little flowers that will never die. All right, so we're going to use the blunt end in my case, but you could use either end. It doesn't matter. I tried it both ways because these toothpicks are really easy to snip off. You can just take a pair of scissors if you want to and snip that off. I would use your craft and rubber scissors. All right, we're just going to bend that up like that. And since it's got a little bit of glue on there, it's going to just help it stick. So I'm going to just pull that back down so that it's flush with the paper. Let's do this one. Like that. So you see how that process is working. And let's try this one, the pointy end, just so I can try it both ways. Yeah, that works too. Like that. The last thing that you would want to do then is just, you could add some more leaves to make them, you know, look even more realistic. So I would just take some more of these leaves, and then just, you can add them right to that bottom layer where you put this green flower. How cute is that? And then of course we need a center. So let's pull out some embellishments. These are new, these are called Genial Gems, and they are designed to coordinate not only with this paper, but with a lot of different things. So they're kind of like this beautiful green color and like a light pink color. And the green ones are really pretty for flowers. So I'll put a green one in here. Like that. And then we'll stick that in our pot. I think that one I want to be the tallest. Let's put a green one on this flower. See how it looks even different based on the color underneath. Stick that guy in there. And we'll put a pink one on the pink flower. Now I would probably add some more leaves to these flowers, but you kind of get the idea, right? And there you go. If you want them to be layered even a little bit differently or lower, then you can just trim the ends of the toothpicks. And then you've got a little opportunity to embellish with words or with ribbon. So I just put some of this mint macaron gingham ribbon on there. And there we've got our little flower pot. So how cute would that be at a place setting next to this little guy filled with candy and or nuts? Pretty fun. What do you think? You guys gonna think about who might need a May basket tomorrow, right? You've got some ideas here to whip up some little paper baskets if you want. You can go back, be nostalgic, and make your little cone shaped, right? Where's our big basket? Here's our bigger basket. So you've got two size baskets. You've got paper flowers. How cute would one of these paper flowers be? Not on a stick, but just put right here on top of on the side. That would be super cute. And there you go. There you have it. There's all of the paper May baskets. Here's some goodies I'm gonna put in my baskets tomorrow. I've got a little bit of candy. I've got some tea, and then I found some gold chocolates that will kind of go with the color theme there. So yeah, super excited. You guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you try making these and start playing with your paper to make some baskets and flowers. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy early May Day to you. Goodbye.